So this one begins back in October 2010. I believe it was actually Halloween because I was just at home by myself, and I think my parents had gone out, with my little brother and sister trick or treating, as tradition. So they'd always go out, and I was already getting old enough. I was already like 20, so I'm like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna partake this year. So I just stayed home. But I probably should have gone out. So what happened was, I was just there hanging out at my house. I was doing some, schoolwork on the computer or something, watching TV. And, at that point, I hadn't really believed in anything or really thought about too much. I think at most, maybe I was watching some like Ghost Adventures, but I didn't really like take it too seriously. So while I'm sitting there on the computer, I don't know, I just get a weird feeling and I start seeing, like things out of the corner of my eye. I see this one like shadow by the, like kind of between the garage door and like the kitchen. Like I keep seeing this shadow like kind of like duck its head back and forth, like if it's kind of peeking at me and like looking back, and kept doing that. And this is kind of a repetitive entity that we actually end up experiencing over the years, because I think that's one thing that kind of helped verify a lot of my stories, is that other people would see it without me really having to say anything. Back then, I didn't really say much about the stuff that I would see, Really, I'd kind of wait to see if anyone else would say they saw something similar, and that'd be kind of my verification. So this was kind of like a little curious spirit, I would say. Maybe something residual, maybe something intelligent. It's kind of hard to say because it would essentially repeat, and that's usually how kind of residual spirits work. So I was kind of seeing that while sitting there, and I kept seeing something like darting out towards the back door, like maybe a different spirit. So it's like, maybe my eyes are just playing tricks on me. I don't know. I was just kind of trying to ignore it. And then all of a sudden I see something jump out of me from like the side, it's like a little hunched over creature is what I kept seeing. It would like jump out at me, and I kind of scare back and what the hell is going on? It did that like 3 times over and over again. Eventually I was like, okay, I'm going upstairs. I'm done with this night. So this creature was kind of just like, I guess I best describe it as like an imp. They're like small demons. So it was kind of like hunched over, like I guess kind of imagine like the jockey from Left 4 Dead 2, for those who ever played that. That's pretty much what it looked like, more or less. Maybe I was just playing too much Left 4 Dead 2 at the time, I don't know. So fast forward maybe like a year or two later, and fast forward a year or two later, and I was staying at my brother's house, or apartment, I should say. And there was this night that I was staying there, sleeping on the couch, and I just couldn't get to sleep, like I kept having this anxiety, like something was watching me. I just saw something kind of small in the corner. I thought maybe it kind of looked like a little kid, but I kept seeing something in the corner, and I just couldn't sleep the whole night. And so I was pretty much there until the sun came up, and my brother went to work. And I was like, all right, screw it, I'm just gonna go, lay in his bed and see if I can just get some sleep. So I'm laying there, and I'm kind of starting to fall asleep, and I start getting these like thoughts, like these crazy thoughts that just weren't mine, that seemed violent or something, but I felt like it wasn't even like from my voice, like sometimes when you picture your own voice in your head, you hear your own voice, but I kept hearing like another voice, So I'm laying there and then I feel something like grab me around the throat. I'm sitting there, laying there for a second, I can't breathe, and then I just kind of pop up, and the door to like, and the way his room was is like the bathroom was like connected to his room, and there's, you know, like a door there, obviously a door leading out towards like the kitchen, but that door just kind of shut by itself. That door would open and shut by itself. It was creepy. But yeah, like as soon as I sat up and got out of that grasp, I, you know, heard that door shut, and I'm like, all right, you know, that's enough for me. All right, so that was like the first experience that I had with anything. It was like a little imp, a little demon, a little creature. I would call it a creature this entire time. So yeah, that was like my first experience. Back at my parents' house, you know, that was just kind of like a real active night. I saw that creature and like two other spirits that night. So that was creepy as hell, and that was kind of my introduction into, you know, like the paranormal. And I just kind of became really aware after that. And then I had the other experience at my brother's. So, and I feel like that second one was the same thing, because I actually found out later on that same night that I was having that experience, unable to sleep. Apparently, my dad was telling me the story too, that my mom was sitting up, you know, and she got like a weird, you know, feeling, and she felt at first like someone was there, like hugging her, and said she felt like it was one of us, you know, like one of her kids, like that mother instinct. And I imagine maybe it was me, because I was, you know, feeling, you know, really scared that night and just couldn't sleep. So she felt this warm embrace, but then she looks over into the corner and she sees it. She sees the creature hunkered over in the corner, just staring at her, unmoving. And apparently, you know, she starts yelling at it, telling it that it doesn't belong here, it's not your home. And the creature eventually like dissipates into the corner, into the darkness, and, you know, my mom's left feeling freaked out. So yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I think it's kind of all connected to this one creature, something that maybe kind of haunted my family for a bit,